Lexus, service isn't just a department. It's a voice on the other end of the phone.
A note to say you're on our mind. A willingness to come to you.
The world and how we interact with each other is changing, but that will never change who we are at Lexus.
Now, more than ever, you and your needs come first.
Find out what service options are available in your area at lexus.com/people first.
Click the banner to discover more.
Hey gang, welcome to another edition of Old Men Yell at Cloud. As always, I am Patrick Barry. With me is Christopher Brown.
Heidi ho.
And Jim Schultz.
Sup, motherfuckers?
And our very special guest today, you may know him from Dweezil Show, and he is also a singer for a group that we're all in, Ease Into the Noise. His name is Phil Fleming.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, of course. How's everyone doing? How about this weather?
So I feel like, do you remember that episode of Rugrats where like something happened and it demonstrated the passage of time?
Oh, yes.
So it showed like the outside of a house and you saw like leaves falling, you saw snow coming, then you saw the snow melting, you saw some rain, and then
classic cartoon trope.
Oh yeah, the brother-in-law walks up
trick,
to the door and
Yeah.
knocks on the door, and his brother opens. He's like, "Hey brother, how you doing?" He's like, "Oh, not too bad. Crazy weather this week, huh?"
Yeah.
And he walks inside.
Yeah,
That was
that's
the
kind of
episode
how
where
it is.
Spike ran away.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. They were
Yeah.
showing the passage of time since
Yes.
Spike had left.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying the Earth is flat or anything, but that could be pretty strong evidence right there.
Yeah, I mean, Rugrats
man.
is admissible in court, as far as I know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the old writ of Klasky Supu,
I was trying to remember what it was, Glasgow's Supo something.
or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, today we're talking about the Cars debut album,
Cars.
which I
Rene Descartes' debut album.
Yes.
Am I here?
Yes, the Cars' very first studio album, released on June 6th, 1978, recorded at Air Studios in London by a little-known producer by the name of Roy Thomas Baker.
What's he done?
He's done... what did he
I'm
do?
kidding. He's done a ton of shit. He did like Queen. And,
Yeah,
He's done a bunch of
lot
Queen records.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite local H record, Pack Up the Cats.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done a lot of things. I was being facetious.
Yeah.
Right,
Very
and
well-known,
I mean,
very talented producer.
You can hear his stamp all over this album. I mean, from the the big ass fucking snare drum to the vocal harmonies.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely some RTB classic right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Classic
so
RTB.
I don't know. I love this album, so that's why I decided to pick it this week. I've probably listened to it about 1,000 times since I first started getting into it when I was like 20.
Well, I got to say, this is definitely one of those albums, especially where we all are in Massachusetts, you hear it all the time on classic rock radio and all of that. And as much as I just fucking hate classic rock radio these days, I never get tired of hearing the Cars songs.
Well, I was going to say, you
especially from this album.
You had
Yeah.
mentioned that you've listened to this album 1,000 times on your own accord. I think I've heard it 1,000 times against my will.
Yeah. Yeah, WZLX is the station that the Cars self-titled built.
Yeah,
Pretty
for sure.
much.
And
BCN back when it was first
BCN
released.
back then.
yeah.
And for all you 90s kids out there, Eagle 93.7.
oh man, that's holy crap! Taking it on back to the Eagle.
Hashtag Eagle 93.7. Let's make this happen.
Yeah, in regards to all the radio play it got, there were definitely a lot of singles. In fact, like most of the record, you'll hear on
like
modern radio.
6 out of the 9 tracks.
Yeah,
you can
I mean, so
readily
like
hear.
the main
Yeah.
singles were Just What I Needed, My Best Friend's Girl, and Good Time Roll. Good Times Roll, sorry. Not just one, several times.
Yeah,
roll.
oh yeah.
We'll let them all go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, why not? And then, they also, you would always hear You're All I've Got Tonight, Bye Bye Love, Moving in Stereo. I've even heard all mixed up before.
So Jim and I were talking earlier tonight, and I was saying, when I was reading about this earlier today on Wikipedia, one of the things I noticed that was odd, or not odd, but it's just, it's unusual, is that this is one of the albums where if you look it up on Wikipedia, every song has its own distinct linked article.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Which is, it's not common, because sometimes it'll like link back to like the Cars discography or something like that, but they all have their own article.
Yep. Yeah.
Because everything on this album just got enough play.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it makes me wonder if every single song was released as a single somewhere on the globe.
Or if Elliot Easton just had a lot of time on his hands in the past couple of years and just went to Wikipedia with reckless abandon.
That's probably more like it.
Yeah, here we go. Got a quote here from Elliot Easton. He said,
Oh, there he is.
Yep. We used to joke that the first album should be called The Cars' Greatest Hits. Yeah, so like, definitely probably like their most known hits are on this album, but they definitely had some fair amount of like singles on subsequent records too.
Oh yeah. I mean there's probably, I think there's a 20-track greatest hits collection, and that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, for sure.
Like every one of them was kind of like a big hit single. So
yeah. Anyway,
it was just the beginning.
Yes. But what a fucking beginning.
Oh God, yes.
Anyway, let's go around the horn here. Christopher, what's your favorite track?
Favorite track? Oh dear, oh golly. You're starting with me, so that puts me right on the spot. I'm going to go with Moving in Stereo.
Life's the same, I'm moving in stereo. Life's the same, except for my shoes. Life's the same, you're shaking like tremolo. Life's the same, it's all inside you.
Because that Moving in Stereo is a weird song. It is really, really weird in a sea of pop songs. And it's not like it's an anti-pop song or anything like that. It's catchy. It has its own melodies. It's cool. It's just a song that's lived in my subconscious forever. In my old band, 8mm Fuzz, I actually ripped off subconsciously the boop, 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 like that synth line. I ripped that off for a guitar line for the song Study of Movement, which was kind of funny because it wasn't intentional. But then I heard this song afterwards, like I saw like Fast Times at Ridgemont High or something. And I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Ripped it off from the Cars because that song just is in me now.
Yeah, it really is like a good example of how the band meshed the sort of classic rock tropes and the current new wave trends, because you had this like super stanky, just rock blues riff, and then this like really weird, almost kraut sort of melody that would on the synth over it. It's a weird fucking song.
And just when that guitar starts harmonizing with that riff at the end, when the strings are playing it, and then the kind of boing boing synth comes back in on top and starts harmonizing more, like it's a riff worth like beating into your skull, and they do it just the right amount of times for it to really work.
No,
not too
I
much.
felt that way. I thought it was a real simple song because it's basically one verse being repeated over and over again.
Yeah.
But especially at the end, where just the kind of long instrumental outro, it just felt like just more elements just kept popping up in it, and
yeah, there was a definite build.
Yep.
Throughout the song.
Yeah, absolutely. And the arrangement is fantastic.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's the longest song on the record too.
Yeah.
Probably.
But I don't know. It was so simple yet so dense and deep.
Yeah.
That's
sort of like,
that was kind of my assessment of the entire
It's almost
song.
like dark wave or doom metal, and it's like so relentless and like.
Oh, you can totally
but
picture a
just
doom
the right
metal
way.
version of this.
For a song with one riff throughout, it's really hard to kind of like get in there and actually sort of like I don't know, like get yourself in and the mindset of it and whatnot. But yeah, that I would give that my favorite for right now.
Yeah, Jim, What about you?
I'm gonna go with the same thing. Moving in stereo.
Bam.
I know.
Yeah.
I've always loved that
We're gonna
song.
turn the light on in celebration.
Yeah.
Or this? Is this like a Van der Graaf generator?
It is not.
Sparks.
Growing up, I always liked this song a lot, and it's kind of got this like binaural like synth sweep thing going on in the background that's pretty sweet. And I I put on in my notes here beeps and boops.
Beeps and
You know,
boops.
as a kid, you really just love the beeps and the boops. And,
I wrote it down as the beep boop boop.
yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, no, I mean a lot of the same points that both you and Phil said. You know, it's a pretty basic song, but there's still like a lot going on.
And how about those drums? Do they
They do anything?
do anything?
I'm not ready yet.
Okay. All right. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right. Sorry. I was a little
You can't
little
force
eager.
it, Patrick. Okay, you can't
All right.
force it.
All right. Fair enough. Phil.
Okay, so it was kind of a toss-up, but for some reason, and it's probably because I've heard it more recently, played over and over again on the radio as usual. I'm gonna go with "Bye Bye Love."
I can't do this way much longer, expecting to survive. With all those hidden innuendos just waiting to arrive. It's such a wavy night, and you slip into insane. Let's get into rock and roll. I hear what you're playing. It's an orangey sky. Always it's some other guy. It's just a broken lullaby.
Ooh, outside pick.
Yeah, I guess so. For some reason, it's what kind of took it over the edge, at least this time for me, is that lead vocal part in the chorus.
Okay.
Yeah, I always like
Because
the
it's all the backgrounds. It almost just swallows the lead part, and you just realize that that the melody is not what you're used to hearing, and it's almost monotone, and I don't know, it kind of grabbed me.
Yeah.
I really loved the pre-chorus of this listen through, because it was a moment on this album that really kind of like stuck out as being different. This album isn't one that like not everything sounds the same per se, but like there's definitely a groove for a good chunk of this album, and that's one of the parts where they kind of break off successfully, I think. And that was one of the parts that really stuck out to me as a cool part of the song.
Well, another thing that I noticed, especially with "Bye Bye Love" being on, the second half of the record, those 4 songs on side 2 kind of blend together easier than the first 5 on side 1.
Agreed.
Which is something I had kind of admired too. But
Nothing like a strong side B to.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Hell
you
yeah.
You just don't get enough of
that
those.
often.
All about side B.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess we're split because I picked "Bye Bye Love" as well for my
no
favorite.
shit.
Oh my!
Okay.
So we hinted at it last time, but we throwing down after this.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be the East versus West side. So kind of gonna latch on to what Phil said, and to me this just felt like all the quintessential elements that I love about the band are kind of in play here. It's just like a really pretty arrangement. I really like how the verses are, kind of this typical rock-y cadence, and then it modulates to this like really pretty B minor for those pre-verses. It just adds like a right amount of drama. It's not too much, and it's just like just very well arranged and really kick-ass like Elliot Easton solo. He does that all over the record, but it's just like. It's particularly nice. Yeah, it's one of my faves. Yeah. All right. Least favorite, Christopher.
All right. So this one was pretty easy for me. There's one song that kind of stuck out from the rest as not necessarily a bad song, but one that just kind of didn't do anything for me the way that the rest of the album does, and that would be "I'm in Touch with Your World."
Yeah.
You can tuck it on the inside. You can throw it on the floor. You can wave it on the outside. Like you never did before.
I really liked the percussion from it, but to me, this really sounded like the last song that was recorded, and it sounded like they might have had like an extra day in the studio. They were tired. Yeah, they were dicking around.
This has filler track written all over it.
Well,
it's a great song still.
I get what you're saying with the filler thing, with all like the production stuff and all the percussion tracks and stuff. But to me, it just sounds like they're tired. It sounds like they're done being in the studio. They did what they set out to do.
It's like the song "The Jitters" off Emergency and I.
Yeah. No, I would say it's probably in that same ballpark. It's the one where the rest of the band is done, but one person in the band wants to keep going.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it felt to me. Even Greg Hawkes didn't deliver on that song.
Right.
Greg Hawkes delivers on every other goddamn song on this album.
Right, exactly. No, I had that too. Sorry to jump, Jim, but I had that as my least favorite too.
We are breaking all kinds of protocols.
That was my least favorite as well.
Oh shit! Let's get in the weeds here.
But no, it kind of felt like, all right, we have these 8 songs. Damn it, the record company wants like 35 minutes or something for the LP.
Yeah.
We got to come up with a song, right? Dun, dun, dun. You know?
And here's some fun percussion.
Yeah, I feel like there's just some random synth noises in there too. It's just like
And Greg Hawkes does some sax solo, and he's got his wacky sax.
Yeah. And like the lyrics looked thrown together.
Oh, totally.
It nothing made sense, but it with the whole lot of sequencing that is on the record, it was kind of nice to hear something a little
different,
like just not so planned.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
I just, when you said nothing made much sense, like I was thinking that you were just like on your knees, like in an existential crisis over this song, and to me that was kind of funny.
About the lyrics. So I was fortunate enough to actually play this album in its entirety.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, Clinton Deegan of Ultrasonic Rock Orchestra, Body English, Desk.
Yeah.
He asked me to come. There's a festival that of some people that he knows up in New Hampshire, and yeah, we played the Cars album all the way through without having practice with one another. Actually, it was pretty flawless for the most part, except when I broke a guitar string. It's part one of Deegan's guitars, but I sang and played all of Rick Ocasek's parts, and so I had to sing.
So who sang the Ben parts?
Deegan did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we kind of stretched the rules there.
Right.
So yeah, I was trying to learn the lyrics to these fucking songs, and yeah, I'm in touch with their world. I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, where can I get that cocaine? Where can I get that strain? So I'm gonna throw a wrench in this. I'm in touch with their world hate and say that "Don't You Stop" was my least favorite.
Don't you stop, don't you stop, don't you stop, don't you stop. If it makes you feel good. Don't you stop, don't you stop, don't you stop, don't you stop. Don't you stop, don't you stop, don't you stop, don't you stop.
That would have been my number 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad song. It just kind of it doesn't stick out as much to me.
I did make a note about this song. There's some pretty cool drum fills towards the end.
Yeah,
you might even say they kind of slam. You know,
there we go.
Yeah,
kind of.
Well,
not a full on slam, but
I'm picturing "Don't You Stop" as one of the songs that worked for them live really well. There was another
Yeah, it's
song.
got a good energy to it.
Yeah,
That's kind of its saving grace.
The lead guitar in it is actually pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's one of Elliot Eason's finest moments on the album. He really shines on it, even if like the song itself isn't shining. Like he's doing he can write home about what he did there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's one of the more interesting parts of the songs is his solo.
Yeah, no, I'm just picturing that like they were playing The Rat in 1976, and that song was something that got the crowd going.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right. What do we do now? MVP moment. Christopher.
Key moment. All right. Is it all right with you guys if I do 2 if they're in the same song?
Sure.
All right, cool. The first one is the Univox Mini Korg in Just What I Needed.
Yeah.
That lead synth line is so
That's
fucking
iconic.
cool. It's iconic. Like I was saying when we were listening to this album, once you get that synth sound in your mind's ear, you can't get rid of it. Like whenever you hear that synth, you will know it immediately, and it makes me want to fix mine. I actually met Greg Hawkes briefly at one point and asked him what synth it was because I owned the Univox at that point, and I was like 99% sure, and I'm like, I'm going to just fucking be 100% sure about this. I'm going to go ask Greg Hawkes.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, Greg Hawkes from the Cars, what synth did you use on Just What I Needed? And he's like, I used a Univox Mini Korg. If you get one, never sell it. And I said, noted. So, yeah, I still have mine. It's broken. I need to fix it, and it's amazing. But, yeah, the other part of that I wanted to bring out that I think was the true MVP moment to the album for me is the little bass run right at the very end during the last So Feed Me. So like when everything kind of like starts decaying a little bit, the drums keep going, and then he says, so feed me, and then the bass kind of does a little run.
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah,
very
that's
simple,
that's amazing,
very
yeah.
minimal, but it just kind of brings it all home. And yeah, I think that's like one of the strongest parts of a very strong song on this album.
Yeah, it's just such a well-crafted piece of pop rock music.
That
for
song
so
was
many
ruined
reasons.
for me because of I made a note about this. I think it was a Best Buy commercial.
Circuit City.
That's what I wrote. I was like, it was either Best Buy or Circuit City.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that goddamn
they
commercial just ruined this song.
I don't know. That didn't ruin that song for me. With Just What I Needed, what I didn't realize when I was hearing it as a kid, I didn't know Ben sang the song. I thought it was Rick.
Yeah, same.
I did notice especially on the first record, basically Ben sang like Rick because Rick wrote the songs.
Yeah.
But
He came more into his own later on.
yeah, like probably around like the Shake It Up and Heartbeat City. And,
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just blown away when I saw video and Ben was singing it. Like, okay.
Just to kind of throw another thing out there.
I can hear it now, but
Point of
yeah.
potential conversation for Just What I Needed. This is kind of a funny song to me because normally, like, we've all been in bands, like, when you have a song that you over-rehearse and just kind of, like, put it out there too much, usually nothing good comes of that. Usually it's, like, the death of the song when you work on it too much or whatever. This song, to me, reeks of something that was played a fucking lot by this band, and they actually got some benefit out of it. Like, they kind of, like, were just making arrangement tweaks the whole way through, and it was for the betterment of the song.
Yeah, like little subtle things like that little bass lick. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Like, I was just hearing that throughout this entire song.
If I recall, that it was that particular song that broke them in Boston and got them signed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
I mean, I think it was that one in Good Times Roll. WBCN played the ever-loving shit out of that, like just the demos, and that's what got them signed to Elektra.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, they played it 1,000 times. And
That's all I got to say about that. The MVP moment.
Jim, what was your MVP moment?
My MVP moment is in Best Friend's Girl, that little guitar run between the end of the chorus and the verse. The
oh yeah, those chicken picking.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah, that I noticed that for the first time listening to it today. It's a goddamn country song.
Yeah.
I never realized that
yeah.
until tonight.
I mean, the guitar solo in that song
It's
pretty
all
much
country
gives it away
riffs, yeah.
as a country song.
Yeah, Jesus.
I don't know. For me, because Moving in Stereo was like of the kind of polished pop songs on the record, the kind of left field, that kind of just slow kind of building song, just the drama in the beginning and the extended outro into All Mixed Up. I think that for me, that the drama that it kind of created as you're listening to it all the way through, that was kind of the MVP moment for me.
Yeah, I love when that first snare drum crack comes in too. I remember the first time I heard it on headphones, it sounded like, I don't know, just so strange, but like really powerful to me. Just really
Moving in stereo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It slaps.
yeah. Just there.
So for me, the part of that song that always is like kind of like the signal, like, okay, we're gonna get weird, is that first like beep boop boop synth. Beep boop boop boop. Yeah, at the beginning of that. That's when I'm like,
Just a little sprinkling
it's
of
like,
weird.
oh, okay, getting weird.
I mean, well, I'll have a second MVP moment. Just the harmonies.
Wow, no rules.
No, wait a minute. No, you got to pay $10 if you're going to have it.
All right, I'll bring, my wallet's upstairs. All right. No,
All right, just leave it here.
Yeah, there you go. Just the harmonies on the entire record.
Oh yeah,
That's all RTB.
yeah. They're just so well mixed.
Classic RTB.
No, and yeah, it is.
It
and,
is.
I mean, it is, and it's something that Mutt Lange took to a ridiculous degree.
Yeah.
But ultimately took to a ridiculous degree. But
To put it lightly, yeah.
Yeah. I read somewhere that the entire record took 12 days to record, and 6 of those days were just vocals.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, just that harmonies, just all of the harmonies everywhere.
And this was on like 24 track tape, I assume, too.
Yeah.
So there was
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
there was a
yeah.
lot of bouncing, and like you had to get those takes correctly and to get it
Like
mixed
the idea
right.
of bouncing 24 tracks. Like, all right, yeah, we've got 24 tracks to work. No, my friend, that's not enough. We're going to need more than that. We'll keep those 12 drums intact, but the rest of you guys are fucked. Patrick, what's your MVP? Because I think I've got a third.
Oh boy.
Oh,
And Jim might have more. Who
He'll
cares?
cost you to. Oh wait a minute, you on the. You live here. Never mind.
Yeah,
I had one that kind of sticks out in my mind is "You're All I've Got Tonight." There in the bridge where there's like during the solo, the keyboard kind of plays these like tension chords over it. There's like
yeah.
B major and then do 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 do. I don't know. I love it. It just gives it like this whole different dimension of a song that, like, you know, sort of has this blues rock feel to it. It gives it, you know, this weird sort of spacey vibe to it that I really appreciate.
I wrote a note for that song that just says, Greg Hawkes, welcome back to making the choruses happen.
Yeah.
And that was actually going to be the third thing I was going to bring up, and it's not actually an MVP. I just wanted to bring this up, how fucking awesome I think it is. And this is a testament to Rick's lyrics, that this song, it comes across as like this desperate like plea for like love or whatever, but I just love the subtext of it. It's like, you're all I've got tonight, which is how I've always read this song, and it's funny to me because like I
never saw it that way, but I could totally imagine it sarcastic.
Entendre. Like, it's not a dirty double entendre; it's just meant as like it could be taken as sarcastic or not.
Well, even in the Wikipedia notes, a lot of the way the band wrote lyrics and stuff was very sarcasm heavy.
Yeah,
That's
that was
awesome.
something
Well, I mean,
I always really appreciated.
Well, that kind of peaked with that single "Tonight She Comes." Yeah. Oh yeah. It could be sexual, but it could be going out for popcorn. You know. No.
People go out for popcorn?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's go to the popcorn store, my friend.
Well, down to the old popcorn boulangerie.
I'm not going to lie. I've gone to the movie theater and just watched a random movie so I could have movie popcorn.
I mean, I have fucking done that as well, but you don't go to a popcorn store and then follow it up to a trip to the haberdasher and then the candlestick maker.
See, if I'm there by myself, they better fucking load up on that butter. I'm here by myself. You better just keep it coming. Come on.
All right.
Come on.
So here's, I will give you, let me learn you something here, kid.
All right.
So what you do is you go to one of the theaters where they let you apply your own butter. So that's most of them at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, you go to the Commons. Yep. You go to the Commons. You go to Assembly Row. Most theaters. So what you do is you take 2 straws. You have one for your drink, and then you take the second straw and you just shove it in the middle of your popcorn bucket. You march over with fucking pride to that butter machine, and you press that button and just center your straw underneath. That will go into the contents of your bucket.
That's fucking brilliant.
You're a goddamn popcorn guru.
And then
that is a life hack,
and
man.
then you take that straw out and you throw it in the trash, and you continue to put butter on the top of your popcorn.
Where has this been all my life? What the
I
fuck?
cannot take credit
Wow.
for this. I think it was Michael Murata that came up with this originally, years and years ago. But yes, this is a thing, and you must do it. I do it all the time, and my God, in the middle of the movie, you get to that point, and you're just like, all right. I don't care if I'm still watching Jumanji with The Rock, which, by the way, was actually an enjoyable movie. But I digress.
But it's a popcorn movie.
It's a popcorn movie for sure,
and it better be fucking slathered in that oil.
Oh yeah. That's sweet oil.
That's the problem that I had with those toppings. I mean that life hack that you just mentioned sounds brilliant, but I don't like the slimy popcorn.
I'm a non-butter guy.
Generally, so am I. So
okay, no, that's fine. Like, if you're not,
they load that shit up with salt anyway, so
you
it doesn't matter.
Blasphemy.
You monsters can sit there and just like eat fingernails all day. I mean, with no lubricant, and that's fine.
I do that. So
You eat fingernails? Jesus.
No, give me a soggy old bucket of popcorn any day.
No, it's that oily factor when you're finished and you're like, shit, I need like a whole trough of napkins.
Oh man, that was
Wipe it on the seat next to you.
Oh yeah.
So the last time I saw The Last Jedi was by myself, which was all sorts of depressing
because nobody else wants to watch it because it was a piece of shit.
It was the second best Star Wars movie, and we will fight over this. But anyway,
and several others will fight over which one's the worst.
It was
I liked
sad.
the robots.
The robots were fun, but I had to like run to the bathroom by myself so I could wash my hands after finishing my popcorn.
Yeah.
But it was worth it. I regret nothing.
Well, no, a lot of people love that buttery like substance that is considered the topping. It's not butter.
Yeah,
it's like canola oil.
Yeah.
You know what I really like? Watching movies not at a movie theater, like at home.
I agree.
I prefer the movie theater, and the reason for that is because I am a person who gets easily distracted, and that's kind of a sign of the times where like I'll sit there and be like, wonder if anyone played Words with Friends.
Yeah.
Or like
The thing is,
oh no, I get that too. Going to a theater to see like a big movie like Last Jedi or Jumanji it's best to see it in a big theater like that.
Yeah,
see
with the
it,
big
but
sound
do it
coming all
during
at
the
you.
matinee when all the old folk are in there. Then they're not going to make any noise.
I mean,
Oh yeah, with the little kids screaming
That's the
and
Tom
shit.
Ribeiro.
yeah, but if you see a movie with a bunch of old people and you pull out your phone, they're gonna think you have a bomb.
No, but don't pull out your phone.
Yeah,
That's what
don't
I'm saying.
pull out your phone.
If I'm
Gotcha.
going to the
Okay.
movies, that's when I want to go
I
because
thought you were saying like those old people won't say shit if I pull up my phone.
I keep trying to give the movie theater a chance, and the goddamn fucking millennials just keep ruining it.
Oh,
for me.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, my big problem is like I have to wear pants. I have to like probably take a shower beforehand.
You do not have to take a shower. Have you ever been to the fucking Revere Showcase Cinemas?
I mean, it does smell like clam chowder 24/7. They don't serve clam chowder there.
So the worst movie experience I ever had was at the Lowe's on the Common there. It's a Lowe's, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the guy next to me was having a conversation on his phone. And Tom and Brittany were with me too, but we got in late, so they had to sit like a few rows ahead of me. They said the guy next to them was wearing AirPods and was listening to music. Why did you fucking pay $12 to sit in the movie theater and listen to your fucking iPod?
He was trying to do the Pink Floyd.
Yeah, he was trying to find the
Dark
next
Side.
find the soundtrack to the
Yeah.
film.
So
Yeah.
what movie was it?
It was fucking Paranormal Activity.
So it's Paranormal Activity, and he was probably syncing it up to like I don't know, Breaking Benjamin or something.
Could they see his hands?
I don't know. I don't
This
recall.
is the X-rated version.
So my brother, a couple of his friends, and I, we saw Jason X in the theaters. You know the final Jason, the final Friday the 13th of that particular series, when Jason ended up in space, and you'd never guess what happens after that. So
wackiness ensues.
So the movie came out in 2002, and I remember this, and will always remember this because
Space Jason.
as we were leaving the theater, we were walking out, and this is the old days of the Showcase Cinemas Revere, where you walked out the back doors and not back through the lobby or whatever, and there was a line to get out. And the woman behind us was talking very loudly, and she says, "That was $10, well worth it." And she kept saying that, well worded, just pronouncing it like that. Okay. And it's like, making fun of someone's like speech impediment or something like that. Like, I'm not interested in that.
Right.
But what was amazing was what followed when she said that was like Jason for the year 2000 and 2002.
Okay.
And for that reason, my issue, I don't want to make fun of this person because clearly there was something going on. But that is for me, I will always remember what year Jason X came out because of my experience in that movie theater.
Oh, there you go.
I went to see the movie Fury, the tank movie with Brad Pitt.
Oh, Jesus.
And there were two guys behind me that were tripping balls on mushrooms through the whole film, just cracking up through the entire film. To the
Of
point
all
where I was like,
things to
can
do.
you guys shut the fuck up? Like, like wrong movie to do this.
Yeah.
I don't think they originally set out to do it. I think they just sort of ended up there. That was part of their heroic journey.
No,
It's what Terrence McKenna told us to do, to see Fury.
Yeah, that's their part of the Campbell monomyth.
Oh, there you go. No, dude, this was, oh God, how long ago? Like more than 20 years ago, we saw Terminator 3.
Ooh,
Rise of the Machines.
was that more than 20 years ago?
No, that was 2003.
No. Was it?
Rise of the
Yeah.
Machines? Yeah.
It was after I got out of college.
Yeah,
It was
we're-
03
I mean,
or
it was
04.
a Terminator
We're not-
that had no Arnold in it.
Yeah, that.
Oh, no,
that
he was in it.
Well, he had a cameo. It wasn't like
No,
No, it was him and Claire Danes were in it.
Oh, wait,
No.
Rise of the Machines?
Rise of the Machines, yeah.
Oh,
No,
God.
that was.
there.
I was old enough to drink, so it was at least 2003.
I think it was
Oh, we gotta
2003,
look
but
that-
that
we gotta
was
look
like
that up.
almost 20 years ago. At
No,
this
I can
point.
I can guarantee that was 2003 because that was the first year I was legal to drink, and I remember drinking at a comedy club, listening to a comedian talking about the then new Terminator: Rise of the Machines.
All right, well, semantics.
Anyway, semantics.
Yes.
So we're sitting through this movie. It was myself, some college friends, and pretty empty theater, watching this movie, and it's pretty bad.
It's awful. Yeah, I started theaters too.
And we're like, okay, we're watching the movie, and end credits roll. Someone stands up and says, "Piece of shit," and bolts out the door.
They ain't wrong.
Oh no, they weren't wrong, but it was clearly the most hilarious moment in the film.
Oh my God, that's great.
Yeah.
Trying to think if I've ever walked out of a movie. Oh, I think I got dragged to The Holiday, which was like one of those like Love Actually ripoff type movies with like Kate Winslet and Cameron Diaz and
I heard about
walked
that
out.
one. Yeah.
We both did. Me and my girlfriend at the time.
Oh man, so you guys probably don't remember this particular nugget of a film, but there was one called Godsend that had Greg Kinnear, Rebecca Romijn, and De Niro in it. And basically, like, the premise was like Kinnear and his wife had a baby. Kinnear and Romijn, I assume, was his wife.
Kinnear and De Niro.
Yeah.
Kinnear and De Niro.
Kinnearo. Yeah, had a baby in it. And, like, the baby was stillborn or whatever. But De Niro was just like, hey, there's another option. Like, you can take this other baby and make your wife think that it's your child. And it was like the Antichrist or some dumb shit like that. Oh, my God. It was a really dumb movie. But my buddy Squiggy and I saw it in the theaters. And we were like the only two people in there. It was opening weekend. We saw it on like Saturday, and there was like 4 people in there. One of the other people was a mother who was in there with her newborn child.
What the
newborn
hell?
child on a pillow. She walked in holding a pillow with a newborn child to see the film Godsend. Opening weekend. So again, like, I don't know if it was going to be clear that this place was going to be this goddamn empty in 2004. Like, but she went in with like her newborn baby. Again, I cannot stress how like brand new this baby
Like, it
was.
literally popped out of the womb and they went to the movie theater.
Within a week. Within a week.
Not within the hour.
Not within the hour. No,
Come on, that's it. I mean,
it was clean and clothed.
yeah.
So I have to
The
assume.
umbilical cord wasn't still hanging out.
But no, she came in with that, so it was amazing because like Squiggy and I see her come in. She sits like a little ways in front of us, and we're like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then the movie starts, and like some really tense scene is happening, and then the fourth person who's in the theater is this dude behind us who just burps really loudly during a tense scene, and we're like, "What the fuck?"
I think the mother must have been like a Kinnear enthusiast and like,
Or a De Niro enthusiast.
I think there's more Kinnear completists out there. I could be
and
wrong.
also, I think at that stage of the game, there were more people thirsty from like what Talk Soup had given them earlier in the decade, and they're like, "Man, I just have not had enough of him since Mystery Men. I need more."
God, that's what he was in, huh?
Mystery Men was
yeah.
great. It was great. You all
On the
shut up.
next episode of Old Men Yell in the
Yeah.
Cinema.
All right, yeah. So why don't we get back on
Let me
track?
cut back to
Okay, let's go back.
we are on comparable albums. We're on the home stretch, boys. We got
All right,
this.
comparable albums. I am going to go with. I'm going to go with the first Joy Division album, Unknown Pleasures, and not again because any reason sonically, but because I think that this is a great excuse of a producer taking a green band and doing things that they wouldn't do otherwise. So things like all those like crazy ass backing vocal harmonies, like all the layers of that. That's something that they wouldn't do. And Martin Hannett, who did Unknown Pleasures, was well known as saying at the time that it's a producer's dream to have a band that doesn't know what they're doing in the studio who has amazing songs.
It's funny that you picked that because I almost picked that album as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Synergy.
So it's kind of interesting that you brought that up because obviously they're a Boston band, but they recorded the album in London. And
Joy Division?
yes, Joy Division is a famous Boston
Well-known
band.
Boston band.
I mean, there are plenty of ripoffs here. Anyway,
Yeah, It'll Millimeter Fuzz, like all sorts of
I mean, in the 2000s, sure. Yeah. No, but so there was like this element of taking a band out of their comfort zone, out of their element, and into a new environment. And did they sort of do that with the Joy Division album as well? Like they're from like one end of England and they went to like
They're in
another
Manchester
end.
and they took them to other, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't like too crazy in that regard. Like it was in the same country.
Sure. All right, Jim.
I'm going to go with 1981's Computer World by Kraftwerk.
Oh, you bitch. Why?
Beeps and Boops.
Fair enough. Robots.
Robert.
Yeah, no, I
Gonna have to pick some Kraftwerk soon on this shit.
Yeah.
no, it's kind of hard to come up with a comparable album to this one, other than the other Cars records up till about 1981, 82.
Oh, sure.
Because they were all produced by Roy Thomas Baker, and they all had all of the signature
All
parts.
the classic RTB.
Yeah. And with the exception of Panorama, which just had all of the weird songs on it.
I weirdly got into Panorama like it was either last summer or there's like 2 summers ago. Like I was driving Uber and I was like listening to it on loop a lot for some reason, which like is a weird album to have on in the
it was
background.
just hard for me. It was just hard to connect to, but I
got into it after like
knew
9 listens.
They knew what their sound was, and they had that combination. They found the right producer right away. So it wasn't like a lot of bands, especially in the 70s, where they finally find their sound on their 3rd or 4th record.
Right.
They found it right away.
Classic RTB.
Yeah. And he applied all that stuff to all the Queen records before, and he didn't do it so much afterwards from the Cars records. He didn't do it so much because I guess he kind of overdid it with the background chorus vocals and all that stuff. But pretty much the 3 follow-ups to the debut are they're pretty on even keel, even if the songs
Candio
are weird.
especially are like
Candio, oh yeah, well,
it's like
Candio
almost
is carbon
the same
copy.
production.
Yeah,
It's almost like sonically like identical.
Oh,
So I went with another kind of obvious one because it was actually produced by Rick Ocasek. I went with Weezer's Blue Album.
I would. Okay.
Yeah. they're both debut albums.
Right.
Both kind of like play around with this idea of like ironically, but possibly unironically, like worshiping kind of classic rock tropes mixed with sort of contemporary rock elements. Like, on one end, the Cars were kind of picking up new wave trends, and with Weezer they were sort of like picking up grunge alternative trends.
No, that's fair enough.
So yeah, that's one that came to mind for me. And like they both kind of carry they both sort of have for each band like the classic singles that you would associate with them the most.
Well, Doc, you sold me.
Yeah. That's what I do.
Well, a lot of Rick Ocasek's productions, especially in the wake of Weezer's Blue album, were kind of done that way.
Yeah.
Only without, for some reason, Rick Ocasek never took over the kind of big mounding chorus vocal style.
Yeah, with the Blue album, it's like pretty raw and like
it's all there. It's just kept a lot tighter.
Yeah,
I guess
not quite as over the top.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, so that's the Cars' self-titled debut from 1978. What do we got? We got plugs now? Let's plug some shit. Christopher, you got anything?
Nah, not at the moment.
All right. Just refer to last episode.
Yeah, see previous episode.
Yeah, listen to Old Man Yell at Cloud, episode 7.
I think we're on episode 7.
No,
we're on
this
8.
Is 8. This is 8.
Shit.
Yeah,
we're
this
moving
one's 8.
right along.
Shit, I got to pick up an album for next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, some
This
of
is
us
my
use the
turn.
spreadsheet.
Oh, I didn't know there was a spreadsheet.
Yes, you do.
Nobody tells me anything. Or I just haven't been eating my blueberries. I'm pretty sure I'd suffer from early Alzheimer's.
Got to eat those bloobs.
Need those antioxidants.
I do.
Yes.
Make all the difference. And stop smoking out of aluminum cans, too. What are we, in 9th grade? Come on. Good times. Jim, you got anything?
I don't think so.
You were just on my other podcast, Jukebox Zeros, actually.
Yeah, I got really drunk and yelled about Joy Jordison.
Yeah, you sure did. Which actually, that episode will probably be out before
Is he
this one
zero?
comes out.
Is he 0?
Yeah.
He's a 0 in my book.
But is that his number?
Oh, the Slipknot number.
Oh yeah, the Slipknot number. I think he's 0.
I thought they were like 6-digit numbers.
No. They were like 0
If
through
I'm
9.
555, then you're 666.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Phil.
Well, I'm just doing On the Town with Mikey D, and hopefully in any kind
What
of
is
free,
that?
the local music radio show that has played all of your collective bands.
And how can someone who is listening to this podcast hear it if they were interested?
Wow.
Especially if they live
Okay.
in
Put them on the
Boise,
spot.
Idaho.
Jesus.
Way to flip it on the radio DJ, man.
Well, I'm just saying.
No, it's okay. No, you can
We
go
need
to
information.
www.wmfo.org.
Need more input.
Need more input. No, and well, we don't have a strict timeline, but whenever we can pull time together to finish the Ease Into the Noise EP.
Could happen.
We're not in a time crunch this time, so that's kind of cool.
But I'll just going back to On the Town. That's Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yep,
correct?
Wednesdays 9 to midnight Eastern.
WMFO.org, right?
Eastern Standard Time, 9 to midnight.
And at some point there will be more Ease Into the Noise stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we had that EP. It's different, but it's good stuff. So we want it out there eventually.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that's all I've got.
Yeah.
How's about you?
Didn't you just book a gig?
I did actually.
Oh, yeah.
So me and my wife Gina spanned Bears for Years, and actually Jim will be sitting in on drums.
Oh, no shit.
As well.
I'm going to bring my double bass.
And
Appropriate.
yes. Yeah, we've
And
got
a
our
gong.
first show. You had a gong. Excellent.
Nice.
Yeah, we're playing our first show of 2018, and possibly we'll be kind of announcing our album release, but it's already out. It's on Bandcamp. But it should be up on like the iTunes and Spotify at some point soon, and we'll like do physical copies. But this is like going to be our first show since we released the record, and it's going to be at McGann's Irish Pub in Boston, and that is on April.
It's right next to the Garden guy.
Yes, April 13th. Is
that a Friday?
That is a Friday night.
I don't know why I'm doing the Halloween theme because that's Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
I mean, close enough.
But if it's Friday the 13th, I'm sorry, but I genuinely may have to avoid it.
Okay.
Fuck
Sorry
you.
about that. It's actually
You know where I'll be.
it's actually bad luck to not come to your friend's shows, but just throw that out there.
I'll probably be there.
I mean,
Even if you
I
ruin
understand.
everything.
I understand superstition. Yeah, that's all I got. So,
All right.
All right.
thanks for tuning in again. Check us out on the iTunes and give us like nice ratings or bad ratings.
Send us some hate mail.
Yeah, we'll read it.
Oh, yeah. No, we'll read it.
Oh, we should totally do an episode based on the hate mail.
Oh yeah, the hate mailbag.
Hate mailbag. There you go.
Excellent. All right. Yeah, thanks for joining us again. I am Patrick.
I'm Christopher.
I'm Jim.
And
Phil. Yeah.
and
And I'll
remember,
see you in hell.
yeah.
Douchebags.